Hey guys, welcome to Appalachia's Homestead. Patea here with a video for you today, a highly requested video. I have had a lot of requests and questions about this subject, and I just feel that it's a good time to go ahead and discuss this. If you are beginning to homestead, looking to be more self-reliant, self-sustainable, all of the above, obviously the reasons you are doing that is because, well, you want to basically grow your own foods. That's one of the big major deals, obviously, with homesteading and whatnot. Whether it's vegetables and gardens, aquaponics, having fish, butchering certain animals, whatever, okay? You're wanting to get really, really good at it, okay? Well, that is all fine and dandy and good, and that is the number one in my mind in terms of being self-sufficient. You want to get really good with all of the aspects that pertain to that, okay? That's the number one thing. But there's some things that you need to know, okay? It is not foolproof, and that is where this subject is coming in today. Now, some folks will look at this and kind of, maybe not necessarily approve, but I try to be as realistic as possible, okay? If you're going to grow and store your own food, the number one thing that you should learn to do, well, there's hunting and having a garden and all of these things, canning. You're automatically going, she's going to tell me to can. I need to learn how to can. Of course you need to learn how to can. You need to learn how to can in all methods, and you need to learn how to can just about everything that you can learn to can, from your greens to your tomatoes to your pickles to your meats, all of the above, okay? It's important for you to be very diverse in that subject. Now, if you have a garden, if you've moved to your homestead, we've talked about this before. It is a progression of time. For those that think they're just going to hop out of somewhere and hop out into, out on the homestead and suddenly have everything, all of their needs met and have all of their skills going, that is not reality. It is a progression of seasons, and it is a progression of time. And within those seasons and within that time, there's a pretty high failure rate. So let's just jump into the possibility that everybody, talks about or has in their mind. What if you have a catastrophe? What if there is a crisis, okay? And you, of many different sorts, okay? And so therefore, because of that, you are then going to have to rely on your own food sources, your own food storage. That could be for 2 weeks, that could be for a month, that could be for several months. Who knows? There's all kinds of scenarios that we could name here to pin down a particular time frame. But what I want you to think about is you may have a really great garden one year and a really good canning session going and all of these things, and a catastrophe hits, and you're like, well, I'm going to live off of my own self-sustainability sources and I'm going to be okay. That's good. What if your crop fails? What if you get 4 days of just unbelievable monsoon-style rain, okay, like we've gotten the past 4 days? I had just gotten done saying, if this had been back in the middle of, say, the end of May or into June, this would have could have potentially washed away a lot of things. Now, if you're a really good gardener, over the years, you're going to learn how to safeguard towards that. I've learned the hard way how to plant seeds a certain way or in a certain position, or how to trench and mound and do all of these things. Why did I learn those things, or why do farmers know these tricks? They learn the hard way. Well, if you're in a food crisis situation because of another situation, you don't have that type of wiggle room. So here's what I'm going to recommend for you, okay? This is whether you are on a rural setting where you have all kinds of access to different things to help you out and folks around you, or if you are on an urban homestead. Particularly if you're in an urban setting, an urban homestead, you better listen to what I'm saying, okay? Because you have a smaller garden, you have a smaller setting, you probably have less access to things around you in terms of, being able to get to them in terms of a crisis. You need to think about food storage. Now, I'm not here to particularly tell you a particular company or not. I think you need to do your own homework. Every family has an individualized situation. What I do and what I tell you is not necessarily what's going to work for you. Always know that when you're watching YouTube videos and farming videos and listening to this person and that person, always think about what they're saying, which is probably very good advice, but at the same time, does it apply to your scenario? You may have to adapt it. So let me tell you right now, my choice for having some backup in our family has been the cannery from the LDS, okay? I have worked with these folks. I have personally canned with them. I have seen the products. I have worked with the products. I have canned the products. So I know for a fact that if you are looking for quality goods at a really good price to stack away that has very, very good expiration dates, long storage, for long-term storage, I'm going to put the link down in the description. Now, when you go online, you're probably going to see a lot of stuff is out of stock. So there's some things that are there. You'll have to look and see what that is and what works with your budget and all of that. You may have one locally in your area. You might want to investigate that. But they also have an online deal where you can check it out. They have fabulous expiration dates on most of their items. I'm talking any time from, most of the items are 30 years. So, that's going to be a good deal for you. So, like I said before, and it goes from your oats, your beans, your dry milk, macaronis, your apples. Oh, the apples are great. The carrots, and you'll have to just check it out. There's a lot of good stuff there. But it has been proven in recent years that there's been a lot of folks that had started storing food, learning to can, had some backup, yada, 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 and the spouse lost their job and they're instantly in a financial crisis. Okay, you have scenarios where folks have failed crops. Okay, if you're really trying to be self-reliant, the reality is, you need a backup source. You need a plan B and C. You should learn all the old school ways. I'm not getting off of the road there. You need to learn how to make. You need to learn how to can and grow and hunt and to do all of these things. In my personal opinion, if we were sitting here, drinking a Coke float and I was telling you the truth, you need to learn these things. But you need a backup plan, okay? Because the reality is, if the pioneers had those folks thought way far out as far as possible, and they would have always had a plan B and C. We take those things for granted because we're just so used to hopping in the car, driving down the road, and being able to get what we can get. That may not always be your scenario, okay? So think about these things. We'll talk more in the future about other similar type stuff, but I want to throw this out there because a lot of times I talk to joggle people's minds and to get them to think, and then maybe if they've seen another video where somebody kind of said that's a waste of your time, it's not a waste of your time, okay? Being able to feed your children, feed your grandmother, feed yourself in a crisis situation and take that stress off of you is not a waste of your time. Know that in advance. Furthermore, I want to go ahead and tell you right now that I'm going to start giving some shout outs to some folks that are on YouTube that I'm finding to be excellent in terms of their channel and their delivery and their message and all the things that they're doing. And so there's just some really great folks out there. And Miss Julie Ann from Dirt Patch Heaven, I'm going to put a link to her page and to her channel down here in the description. She is just awesome, okay? She is so sweet. We've been doing a lot of chatting online and catching up with each other and comparing this and comparing that. And while we all have a lot of the same goals, our homesteads are very different. So what you may see there, you may not see here. So I want you to go check out her channel. I'm going to continue to give some shout outs for her because she's just a great little thing. So be sure to check her out. If you like what you see here at Appalachia's Homestead, be sure to like and subscribe. Let us know what you think. We love hearing from you guys. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest and all that. But seriously, think about this. And I'm just going to be honest with you, as I always tell everybody, you're not crazy. You're being responsible. And that's what's going to see it all through. We'll talk to y'all soon. Y'all take care out there.